Hello students, I am Poonam Mistry. Welcome to my YouTube channel. As you all know that SS is a very boring subject, but today let's make it an interesting subject. So let's start with the geography chapter, resources and development. Resources are what nourish you, what help you release stress, but a smile on your face makes a life worth living. So let's find out how resources and development are related to each other. Now, when we talk about resources, first question comes in our mind is what do you mean by resources? Anything which is available in the environment which we get, that is a resource, right? It means that everything available in our environment which can be used to satisfy our needs, which is technologically accessible, economically feasible, and culturally acceptable, can be termed as resource. It means that anything which is available in the environment which can be used by us to satisfy our needs, and it should be technologically accessible. It means that it should be provided to us. And economically feasible means what? Economically it should be possible to use it easily. And culturally acceptable means it should be accepted by all of us. That can be termed as resource. Okay, now here you can see the diagram of physical environment. It means that anything which is available in the environment, it involves an interdependent relationship between nature, technology and institutions. You will ask me that how it is interdependent on each other. First of all, human beings are directly dependent on nature, right? Here you can see that human beings are dependent on nature, technology, institution. What that means? First of all, human beings interact with nature through technology, right? Now, first of all, whatever things we get from the nature, it is not directly used by us, right? So whatever thing we get from the nature, what we do is we process it and make it into finished product by using proper technology. After that, we create institutions, and after creating institutions, we can sell it, right? Means we can use it. So this is all how the relationship of resources. But do you think that resources are free gifts of nature? No, resources are not free gifts of nature. Resources are a function of human activities. How? That is because human beings are themselves essential components of resources. As I have said earlier, that whatever thing we get from the environment, that is the material which we get from the environment, we make it a resource. So it is done by human beings, it is not directly available, right? We processed it into finished products to use them. So this is the interdependent relationship between human beings and the resources. Okay, now the further classification of resources is done in the following ways. First, on the basis of origin, there are two types, that is biotic and abiotic. What do you mean by biotic? Biotic, that we will study further in detail. Okay, on the basis of exhaustibility, there are two types, renewable and non-renewable. On the basis of ownership, again four types, individual, community, national and international. And on the basis of status of development, again there are four types, that is potential, developed, stock and resource. Here the chart which you can see, in that also it is given the classification of resources into natural and human resources. Natural resources are that resources which we get from the nature, and human resources which is directly or indirectly made by human beings. Okay, we'll study in detail about it ahead. Okay, now let's study in detail about the types of resources. On the basis of origin, first is biotic resources. These are obtained from biosphere and have life. It means that it is a living resource, we can say. The example here is human beings, flora and fauna, that is plants and animals. Plants and animals are of course a biotic resource. It is a living organism, we can say. Fisheries, livestock, and many other things. Abiotic resources, all those things which are composed of non-living things, means it does not have any life, is called abiotic resources. An example here is rocks and metals. Okay. Next, on the basis of exhaustibility, again it is divided into two types: renewable resources, non-renewable resources. Renewable resources are those resources which can be renewed or reproduced by physical, chemical, or mechanical processes. It means that any resource which once used can be reused again is known as renewable resource, like solar energy, wind energy, water, forest, wildlife. This all comes under renewable resources. Next is non-renewable resources. These are the resources which once used cannot be reused again. The best example we can give is petrol, diesel, minerals, fossil fuels. And even these resources, if they can be renewed again, but it takes millions of years in their formation, so we can say that it can't be renewed easily. Now next is on the basis of ownership. Again there are four types, that is individual resources. Individual resources are owned privately by individuals. For example, your house, it belongs to you, right? Here it is given, let's read this. Many farmers own land which is allotted to them by government against the payment of revenue. In villages, there are people with land ownership, but there are many who are landless. Urban people own plots, houses, and other property. Plantation, pasture lands, ponds, water, and wells are examples of resources ownership by individuals. Okay, so individual resources are those resources which are owned by private individual. Here they have given the example of farmers, that farmers own land which is allotted to them by government, means actually it is not theirs, but government have provided them the land. Okay, because they are paying tax against it. And when we talk about urban people, they have their own flat, they have their own house, they have their own we can say bungalow, any other thing, right? So that comes under individual resources. Next is community owned resources. The best example for community owned resources is public parks, playgrounds, and many other things which are accessible to all the members of the community. That comes under community resources. Next comes is national resources, and in this national resources, the resources which belong to the nation is known as national resources. Of course, the country has legal powers to acquire even private property for public good. You have seen the roads. The example for national resources are roads, canals, railways. They are being constructed on fields owned by some individual, but they belong to the nation, right? It is not like that you can't walk on that road, you can't go in such trains. It is not like that, right? It is owned by national, means it is owned by a country. So we are having the authority, we are having the power, we are having the right to use that. And even one more important thing here is all the minerals, water resources, forest, wildlife, land within the political boundaries and oceanic area up to 12 nautical miles, that is 19.2 kilometer from the coast, termed as territorial water, and resources therein belong to the nation. Now, what that means 12 nautical miles. So, suppose there is one ocean, and now we have to measure that ocean from the starting of our country till 19.2 kilometer, and that means that till that 19.2 kilometer, that ocean belongs to our country. We can use that. It comes under national resource. But in international resources, there are international institutions which regulate some resources, means it is not owned privately or it is not owned only by the country. This oceanic resources beyond 200 kilometer of exclusive economic zone belong to the open ocean, and no individual country can utilize it without the concurrence of international institutions. Means before using this, we have to take permission from many countries, because it does not belong to only one country. Okay. Next is on the basis of status of development. First is potential resources. Potential resources are those resources which are found in region but it has not been utilized. Why? Because we don't have that much of potential, right? Potentiality is not there. We can give an example of Rajasthan and Gujarat, that they have potential for the development of wind and solar energy, but still the technology, we can say, it has not been developed properly. So instead of using this energy, we are still using coal to generate electricity, right? So we are not having enough potentiality. Next is developed resources. Resources which are surveyed and their quality and quantity have already determined for utilization. It means that we have surveyed and we have find out its quality and quantity, and it has been already developed resources. And it depends, the development of resource depends on the technology, that how much technology we have used to develop that resources. Okay. Next comes the stock. It means that the materials in the environment which have the potential to satisfy human needs, but human beings do not have the appropriate technology to access this. It means that we are having enough stock, means we are having enough materials in the environment to use it, but human beings do not have appropriate technology. So of course that stock also remains unused, because human beings are not having proper technology to access this. Let's go ahead. Here one example is given in stock, that water is a compound of two gases, as we all know, that hydrogen and oxygen, but we don't know that how hydrogen and oxygen can be separated, right? It means that we don't have enough technology to use them from proper use, right? Next comes reserves. Reserves are the subset of the stock which can be put into use with the help of existing technical know-how. Means we are having enough technology, but its use has not been started yet, because we think that it can be used in the future, because right now in the present we are having enough resources to utilize it, so we have kept the reserves. As we all know, that I can give you an example of current situation, that you all know that lockdown is going on, so many people think that during lockdown there are possibilities that we will not get the things, right? Groceries and many other things. So what do? they keep the reserves of, means they keep the reserves of groceries at their home, so that if in the future, if in the upcoming days, if it happens that we don't get any food item or any other thing, so we are already having the reserves. So we are not using it right now, we will use it in the future when this situation may occur. Here example is given of river water, that it can be used for generating hydroelectric power, but presently it is being utilized only to a limited extent, because right now we don't want it, means we don't want to utilize it right now. Okay, so it can be used in the future. So that were the types, that were the classification of resources. Next comes development of resources. Of course, we know that resources are important for survival of human beings as well as for maintaining quality of life. ह्यूमन बींग्स को सर्वाइव करने के लिए एंड टू मेंटेन द क्वालिटी ऑफ लाइफ रिसोर्सेज आर इम्पोर्टेंट. कैन यू इमेजिन आवर लाइफ विदाउट रिसोर्सेज? नो, राइट? Human beings use them indiscriminately, but the problem here is human beings do not make proper use of resources, and because of that it has led to the following major problems. First, depletion of resources. Resources are getting depleted. This thing you may have heard, that petrol is going to exhaust very soon, very soon, means resources are getting depleted, and this is just because of the greed of few individuals. Next is accumulation of resources in few hands. The best example in this I can give is of rich and poor. Rich people are having enough resources, we can say more resources than poor people. Poor people are not having enough resources, right? Here also it is given haves and have not, that is rich or the poor. Rich people are having enough resources, poor people are not having. And last is indiscriminate exploitation of resources has led to global ecological crises such as global warming. As we all know that because of using more and more resources, there are many problems occurring, right? That is global warming. Ozone layer is depleting day by day. But I think so you may have heard one thing, that because of the current situation, that is the lockdown which is going on, because of that ozone layer is healing. It is just because of less pollution, right? Environmental pollution and land degradation. Environment pollution is less just for the some period of time, and even land is degrading. Why land is degrading? It is just because of using more and more chemicals rather than using natural things. So that was about the development of resources. Next is, here it is given an equitable distribution of resources has become essential. Okay, if individuals do not use resources properly, so instead of it we can do one thing, that we can plan the resource before using it. If we want to think about the future generation, then planning is necessary. If the present trend of resource depletion by a few individuals and countries continues, the future of our planet is in danger. If in present time the way we are using our resource, then it is possible that our future is in danger. Therefore, the one and only thing is that resource planning is essential for sustainable existence of all form of life. Resource planning is necessary. Here comes an important topic, that is sustainable development. What do you mean by sustainable development? It means that development should take place but without damaging the environment, and development in the present should not compromise with the needs of the future generation. You know that there are many developments which are taking place day by day, and developments which are taking place, it is just because of technology. But along with development, if environment will be harmed, then it is not possible for us to sustain in the future. So sustainable development is necessary. So again I am repeating, sustainable development means development should take place but without damaging the environment, and development in the present should not compromise with the needs of future generation. Now here again one important topic comes, that is the Earth Summit, which was held in the year 1992. Students remember this thing because this question has been asked many times in board examination. That is the Earth Summit, which was held in 1992 in Brazil in Rio de Janeiro. For it was the first international Earth Summit which was held. And you know why this summit, that is why this meeting was held? It was held to solve the problem of environment. This summit was convened for addressing urgent problems of environmental protection and socio-economic development at the global level. Not only India, not only our country, but our Mother Earth, the environment, it is degrading. So, the assembled leaders signed the Declaration on Global Climatic Change and Biological Diversity. The Rio Convention endorsed the Global Forest Principles and adopted Agenda 21 for achieving sustainable development in the 21st century. So, in that meeting, the decision was taken for the protection of environment was, here the Agenda 21 is given that it was the declaration which was signed in 1992 at United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, which took place in Brazil, and the aim was to achieve global sustainable development. It was an agenda to combat environmental damage. The main aim behind it was to combat the environmental damage, poverty, disease through global cooperation on common interest, mutual needs, and shared responsibilities. So, in board examination or any other way, we can say that what do you mean by Agenda 21? This question may be asked. So, you have to remember that the aim of Agenda 21 is to combat environmental damage, poverty, disease through global cooperation on common interest, mutual needs, and shared responsibilities. And even the major objective of Agenda 21 is that every local government should draw its own local Agenda 21. So you have to remember about this summit which was taken place in Brazil in the year 1992, especially to discuss about the environmental protection and to combat the damage, the environment, poverty, disease, and many other things. Okay. Next topic is resource planning. As we saw ahead only that resource planning is necessary, right? So let's read that. Planning is the widely accepted strategy for judicious use of resources. Without planning, it is not possible for us to think about the future generation that they can use the resources. So planning is necessary. It has importance. In a country like India, without planning, it is not possible for us to use such resources. And in a country like India, which has enormous diversity in the availability of resources, Let me tell you one thing, the resources which are available in our country, it does not mean that we are getting it from everywhere, each and every resource, right? There are some resources which we get from particular area, or which we get from particular region, and there are some resources which are deficient in some countries, or which are deficient in some region. But there are some resources which are available in large quantity in some region, right? That is only written here, that there are some region which can be considered self-sufficient in terms of availability of resources. The example here is of rice and wheat. Punjab and Haryana have large production of rice and wheat, right? They have enough production, they have large quantity of rice and wheat. The production there is more because of the availability of proper climate there. But when we talk about Rajasthan, or when we talk about any desert area, there it is not possible for the crops to grow. They are not self sufficient, so they have to depend on other states or the other region for that particular thing. The example here is given, the states of Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh are rich in minerals and coal deposits. Even Arunachal Pradesh has abundance of water resources, but the problem here is it lacks in infrastructure development. The infrastructure development is not good there. Even the state of Rajasthan is very well endowed with solar and wind energy, but it lacks in water resources. Water resources is not proper there. It has very rich cultural heritage of Ladakh, right? Means they are talking about Ladakh, that the cold desert of Ladakh is isolated from rest of the country because no other desert in our country is as cold as Ladakh. It is a rich cultural heritage, but there is deficiency in water, infrastructure and some vital minerals. So resource planning is necessary. So how we will plan our resources, how we will plan our resources in order to sustain, right? So let's see the steps for the resource planning. First of all, what you will do for planning of resources, how you will know that these resources are available in large quantity in this area, these resources are not available here. So for that, first step is you will identify and invent resource across the region of the country. How you will identify and invent resources across the region? For that, you have to survey it. Mapping and qualitative and quantitative estimation and measurement of the resources. For that, surveying is necessary. Mapping and qualitative and quantitative estimation and measurement of resources, that you have to survey about it, that which resource, which thing is available here. For that, you need to survey it properly, and from that you will find out the estimation, and then you will identify that this is a resource. Second step is evolving a planning structure and on with appropriate technology. Now you came to know that this is a particular type of resource. So now what you will do after planning, you will use your technology, you will use your skill, and you will set up for implementing resource development plan. That now you will start planning for that resource. And third step is matching the resource development plans with overall national development plan. That the plan for the resource that you have made should match with the national development plans, right? And for that, India had made concerted efforts for achieving the goals of resource planning right from the first 5-year plan launched after independence. Okay. Next is The availability of resources is a necessary condition for the development of any region, but mere availability of resources is the absence of corresponding changes in technology and institutions may hinder development. Of course, the availability of resources is necessary, like resources should be available. That is necessary for us, that we want the resources, but by using more and more technology, and if we will waste our resource, then it hinders the development of a nation, right? It will stop the development of the nation. So we have to think for that also. On the contrary, there are some regions which have a poor resource but they are economically developed. So it means that there are some region that they have enough resources, but because of using more and more technology and they are not thinking about it properly, so economically they have become poor. But there are many regions where they have poor resource but they are economically developed. Here the history also says that there were many countries, or there were some regions where rich resources and colonies were the main attractions for the foreign invaders. We can take an example of India only. Foreign people like Britishers, we can say Britishers, when they came to India, they were attracted by Indian spices only, right? So these were the resources which we were having, but because of that resources, what happened, a country which was prosperous became economically backward country just because of Britishers. And we know that there were many problems which were held during the British rule, right? Okay. And India has already experienced all these different phases of colonization. Colonization means, the period when someone rules in some country, like the Britishers ruled our country, right? Next topic is conservation of resources. We know that resources are vital, means resources are important for any developmental activity, but irrational consumption, but without thinking, if we will continue our consumption, and overutilization of resources may lead to socioeconomic and environmental problems. That is sure. If we will overutilize the resource, then there are possibilities that environment problems are going to occur, that we are already facing today. We are having enough resources, we are having each and everything, but today our country, or we can say even many countries, are facing environmental problems. Now, to overcome these problems, what shall we do? That is resource conservation at various levels. Resource conservation at various levels is important. We have to conserve our resource. Now you'll say, how you'll conserve the resource? So I can give you one example of conservation of resource. For example, you are using your vehicle, anything, that is bike or scooty or car, anything. Okay, now you are using your bike personally, you are going somewhere, and even your friend is also going with you somewhere else. You both are having your personal vehicle. So what happens here is, you both are wasting petrol, we can say, because you both are going at the same location and wasting the petrol. This is overutilization of resources, which is going to harm our country, right? Now the solution here is that if both of them may have an enough conversation, and what they can do is, one of them may take their vehicle and they both can go in one bike or in any vehicle they are using it, right? So here we can say that resources can be conserved in this way by thinking about it. Here Gandhiji also said one thing, that is there is enough for everybody's need. He said that we are having enough resources for everybody's need but not for anybody's greed. मतलब कि कोई एक ही पर्सन की ग्रीडीनेस के लिए ये रिसोर्सेज नहीं है, ये सबके नीड के लिए रिसोर्सेज है. अंडरस्टूड? So here what he did is he placed the greedy and selfish individuals and exploitative nature of modern technology as a root cause for resource depletion. It means that आज के ज़माने में हम क्या करते हैं, that is what we are doing is because of our greediness. It means that we are using more and more technology to use our resource, and because of that our environment is harmed already and it is being depleted at the global level. So he is saying that सबके लिए तो ये resources है ही, लेकिन अगर हम उसको ओवर यूटिलाइज करते हैं and without thinking about the future, then ये resources के वजह से हमारा environment harm ही होने वाला है, right? He was against mass production and wanted to replace it with the production by the masses. He never supported with the mass production. What he supported was the production should be done by masses, means by a group of people. बहुत सारे जन मिलकर ये प्रोडक्शन करे. He thought that. Okay. So that was about the resources, and we read first of all the meaning of resources, then we studied the classification of resources on the basis of origin, on the basis of exhaustibility, then on the basis of ownership, and then on the basis of status of development. Then we saw the agenda 21, then we saw resource planning, how it should be done, and last was conservation of resources. Okay, now in the next topic we'll study about the land resources.